First off, let's give a big round of applause to Arvida Book Company and Nikki for hosting us this afternoon. Please give them a round of applause. The wonderful space, wonderful venue. So once again, if you do get thirsty and decide to have some coffee, they have some awesome coffee inside. Free drinks in there. Please help yourself. Sparkling waters, and soda pop. All right, so my name is David A. Romero. I'm the editor-in-chief of El Martillo Press, and we are so honored to have you all here for an author's reading today in the lovely city of Tustin. Give Margaret Alicia Garcia a round of applause for organizing this reading, bringing us all together this afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and get started with, actually, I'm going to call up I might be the editor-in-chief, but we also have a CEO. We have a chief executive officer. Give it up for the best political poet in America, the world-traveling poet, Matt Cedillo.
Hey, one more time for David A. Romero. One more time for Arvida Books. And finally, let's hear it one more time for yourselves. That's all the love you have for yourselves. Come on, clap it up. Louder, come on. This is for yourself. Yeah, there we go. Now, that same kind of love you have for yourself, I want you to show to our authors when they come up here. So if you're enjoying what they do, give them a round of applause. I mean, really clap. You can even clap while they're performing. So up first, we're going to bring up our first author. Now, when me and David decided to start up a press, we had an idea in our minds what kind of press we wanted to have. We wanted a press that would really embody, like the working people of this country, the working people all around the world, and people who we knew, authors that were not only great writers, but also embodied a certain type of ethic. That also, we didn't want to publish anyone who hadn't at one point in time pushed a broom or worked the cash register, something like that. And this next author, he embodies that spirit more than anyone I really know. So he is the current reigning defending poet laureate of Pomona. My dear brother, I've known this guy for so many years, and to watch him grow has been incredible. Please put your hands together for Cesar K. Avalar.
Let's have a big round of applause for Arvida Books, please. Yes. So a little bit about my work. What I do, I bring the factory into any space that I go to artistically. So this is a book about blue collar poems, and I hope y'all dig it. This is called Green Phlegm Tacos. How many of you guys have ever deserved a raise before in your life? Raise your hand. But they gave you like a pizza lunch instead. This is about this shit right here. Yeah, but all bagels. Were they like good bagels at least? Oh, they were like some 7-Eleven bagels, I bet. No, just kidding. It's a Green Phlegm Tacos. On the lunchroom wall hangs a poster that grows a pair of lips and spits in my face. Its words become green phlegm dripping down my eyebrows and cheeks, landing on my food as I eat. Their words say, "We would like to thank our production staff for the taco lunch for working determinedly for so many consecutive days. So join us and keep up the good work." These words create a hatred so deep that my existence becomes a rope hanging on the trembles of my jaw. I guess with these tacos, my family will get back the hours daddy wasn't home. I guess my son's feeling of neglect will disappear with a splash of red salsa and onions. Maybe his homework will retract, get undone, and I will come home on time to be a good father. Or maybe for these tacos, I am to be grateful to a company that makes millions a week and gives us a lunch instead of a raise. Maybe I'm just supposed to accept this lunch with all its strings attached to my arms and legs. Maybe I'm supposed to stay quiet, benevolent, and not think of capital while living in a world that requires it to live. The taco truck arrives. No one feels the punch in the stomach. No one feels the spit on the forehead. No one feels the gravel under our feet turn into repeated cycles of lies. Every mouth begins to freely talk. Every mule begins to laugh. Everything remains the same. Should I forget that I am a man? Should I join this choir of asses? Should I live the day a donkey? Should I give in to these diversions of double tortillas to fill me up so I can hurry heeing and hawing back to work? Somehow these tacos seem like a joke, where the only one who isn't laughing is me. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go off of the deep end here. I'm going to test your gut for poetry, okay? This is called canelita. Canelita, you know, like in my culture, it's like cinnamon streak stains, just to give you a little taste of what's coming. The more I move, the more I begin to leak. The cactus juice I drank in the morning is too strong. Its power runs deeper than production lines. It's our mother's hands, the juice that comes from desert lips. It's what viciously fights the poisons of man. She could care less about the 90-day probationary period for new hires. My legs are clenched. My stomach is pushing. I've been holding for 6 hours, running around, unloading boxes, lifting pallets, then repeating the cycle over and over and over again. While trying to walk, my face becomes red. It burns like when a man loses all dignity, when he realizes that this world has nothing to offer, not even a bathroom break to take a shit. Managers are trying to see who can hang and who can go home. All eyes are watching. Out of nowhere, I feel something inside me come out. The slimy feeling in my cheeks begins to talk. The ancient gushing voice of cactus begins to say, "Hijo, esto no es normal." As soon as lunchtime hits, I slowly walk to the bathroom. I sit on the toilet, look down, and there they are. The shit streaks that don't lie, my manhood stripped away and put on display for my spirit to see. While sitting here, I begin to laugh. These shit stains are the shape of Central America. I can see my people in Honduras, where factory workers have been known to wear diapers while working. While sitting here, I can't help but to laugh, fighting back tears while looking out into the sun through a small bathroom window and say, "Puchica loco, pásame un pamper." Thank you. Cool. Thank you. I see you guys could take a little bit. All right. All right. There's some places where like, ew, that's disgusting. Well, that's cool, you know? All right. This is called the steam tunnel. I have a steam tunnel and my mind wanders at work like a lot of us creatives, and this is it right here. Our last names are written in the smoke. It breathes us in, spits us out, disfigures us, sucks us dry, fattens us up. Day to day, the steam tunnel has hands. They whisper, float around us like alarm clocks, feel their way into our dreams. This tunnel, its pitch black mouth, it holds me, forces me to sweat, pushes poems out of my sweaty neck, pushes movement out of my swollen feet and strength out of my screaming heart. In the smoke, I feel my family. It's me, my brother says, calling from the other side. I live in this place, in the smoke that calls you, in the breath of our people, in the voice that lives in tired working eyes. Mama Esperanza, abuela, it's you, running into the light of my madness. Don't be trapped, she says. The footsteps of pain are no longer ours. They're sewed onto you, made with the thread of your fear. I stare into the smoke. I see myself, the rest of the workers, our breath, our labor, our voice, telling us to move, to keep pushing for the workers to come together, to take our respect, take what we deserve. No one will help us, only ourselves. To listen to the ancestors, see our story, feel our connection, listen to the steam tunnel, feel our fear coming together, melt away, drift away, and be swallowed by the smoke. Cool. We got time for one more? You sure? All right, cool. I try to stay up here as much as I can, and this was said one more. So cool. This is called God of the Air Hose, the title of my book. God of the air hose, touch my forehead and open my third eye. With your hissing lips, bless my future instead of keeping it captive. Take my hands and rejuvenate them. Take my feet, show them the way out this cage of a maze. In every crevice under wrinkled skin around my eyes, I can feel your pulse gyrating through the stories made of white streaks on an overbleached wall, revealing truths hidden deep in the hunger of imagination, showing time as a spiral of spears that never stops being thrown. Please, God of the air hose that makes my gray hairs become the speed of progress, turn age into a cocoon of a butterfly whose wings become stones that write messages for the future. Please, God of the air hose, blow me a kiss, one that makes my world become eyes that can find the best way out this factory. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, like David and Matt said, we have books for sale. Please help me fulfill my creative overtime quota right here. All right. Thank you, y'all, so much. Thank you.
So that was Cesar K. Avalar. Cesar is going to be reading actually at Cal Poly Pomona with Lee Herrick, who is the poet laureate of California. So upward and onward, man. Caesar's doing big, big things in the world. So give it up one more time for Caesar. Now up next, I have the great honor of bringing up this next writer with us, and I've had the great honor of actually reading in his classroom, and I've had the opportunity to see just the love he has for his students, but also the love the students have for him. And I've seen that replicated not just there. I've seen it replicated at outdoor, at book readings, at bookstores. I've seen it replicated at car garages where we were doing poetry, and tattoo parlors and all kinds of places. People often ask this question if walls could talk, but this is like if bus stops could talk, if bus rides could talk, if the liquor store could talk, if entire communities could talk, they might sound a little bit like this man. It's so teeming with love of the community and people. Please put your hands together. You're gonna love him too. Put your hands together for Donato Martinez.
How you guys doing? You guys doing all right? Nice to see you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. It's about 105 degrees in Riverside, where I live. So if you're complaining about the heat right now, y'all don't come to Riverside, okay? Stay out here in Orange County. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys. Lisa, yeah, okay. Thank my students are here. A couple of my friends are here. So thank you guys, people I've known for a while. So thank you guys for coming out. New friends are here. How many of you guys grew up poor? How many of you guys grew up poor? Yeah. So in my, I don't know if it's in my intro or it's in my my thank yous, but I make a reference to the fact that me and my siblings, we grew up poor, but there's levels of poverty, right? And so some of my poetry will kind of reveal some of that. So excuse my language, but there's poor, then there's dirt poor, and there's fucked up poor. And we were all there. We've been there at these stages. And let me check my time because I have to respect that. Okay. But when I was younger, I was a little travieso, and a travieso like a little troublemaker. And I was the type of guy that would kind of like find ways to get shit for free. Right. And I remember, and I have to apologize, and I don't know if God's going to hold this over when I die, but I even remember, how some people like at the offering, when they come around with the basket at Catholic churches, and they put a $20 bill in, and then they get some change and stuff like that. Well, I got into a little notion, but I had to watch out to make sure that my mom and dad weren't watching, my little movida, my little move, right? So we were on the free lunch program, and sometimes the lunches at school kind of sucked, right? And so there was options for you to buy better lunches than the free lunch program. So I had to figure out a way to get a little bit of money when I'm like, like 8, 9, 10 years old, right? So I took $1 and put it in the basket, but I folded it so people would just assume that I took $5, put $5 in. So I'd get my change. And I always got like $3 or $4 in change. And at least that bought me lunch for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, I had to figure out how I'm going to get $2 on Thursday and Friday. So I did that at church, and I'm sorry that I did that. You know, God, right? You know, another thing that I used to do, and I'll make reference to it, is that, you know, my dad would give my mother like $80 or $100 to go out and buy the groceries for that week. And there were like 7 of us, like 5 boys and 2 girls. And you guys know boys, man, we did like starving teenagers, right? Well, I discovered Frosted Flakes by accident at one of my friend's house because we were always used to kind of like cornflakes, and then you add the sugar to make it better, right? But by the time you couldn't even get to finish the bowl because everything was just like shitty and soggy by the time you got to the, you know, the rest of the cereal bowl, right? And then one time I went to my friend's house, and he says, oh, my mom will be home about 5 or 6, but we were there about 3. And she says, you know, she's going to make spaghetti meatballs. And like, you want some spaghetti meatballs? I didn't even know what spaghetti meatballs were. I was just like, say, yeah, that shit sounds good, you know, right? And then my friend said, but we can have some cereal for now, you know, right? And he got some cereal, and it was a box of Frosted Flakes. And man, when you tasted Frosted Flakes for the first time, it's like you're tasting honey. It's like you're tasting heaven. It's like, and I never wanted to go back to cornflakes, right? And so when my mom went to the grocery store, she would take one of her older sons to drive her there. And I used to always love to go to the store because my brothers would be like, Donato, make sure you get some ding dongs. Make sure you get some Doritos, right? And sometimes my mom would put like the generic cornflakes, right? And I would say, Mom, let's get some Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes was always more expensive. But when my mom turned her back or whatever, I would take out the cornflakes, and I would slip in the Frosted Flakes, and then I would put like sandwich bread on top of the box or like bananas on top of the box. So she never saw that shit again because I was a travieso. And by the time we went up to the conveyor belt, she was all embarrassed, and she's like, oh, what are we going to do now, right? And she's like, Donato, you better make sure that we don't go over $80 because you're putting that Frosted Flakes back. And half of the times I won, half of the times I lost. But I'm willing to gamble on that one, you know, for Frosted Flakes, right? So anyways, that's a little bit of introduction to some of the poverty that I grew up with. You know, I got a lot of stories about just getting free shit. But even today as a grown man, I kind of embarrassed about, you know, it's like, okay, like if you're at Target and they forget to charge you something and you don't notice it until like at the, you know, you're walking out the parking lot, is that just good karma, or is that just like, oh man, I'm gonna go back, make sure that they charge me for this? You see, it's a moral decision. My moral decision is like, this is good fucking karma. Yo, thank me, right? You know, I didn't pay for that. So that's just me. So this is called Sounds Ringing in My Head. It is the annoying muffled static during your favorite television show. It is the sound of hushed prayers in the church pew, almost losing faith. It is the sound of a hungry young child wanting more, the sound of an empty, growling stomach. It is the sound of the long unemployment lines and mumbled angers because this shit better get better. It is the sound of an eviction notice on my apartment door, the sound of gurgling warm water cracking on old pipes before showering. It's the sound of an empty cereal box being shaken. It's the sound of nasty leftover food being microwaved. It's the sound of envelopes with final notice in the mailbox and not a check in sight. It is the sound of a cracked whip of the belt on young flesh, the sound of the slap of the young mother's face from her man who loves her and she believes it. It is the sounds of barking in the streets all night and all day. It is the sound of sirens and nearby screams all night and all day. It is the sound of fuck from your lips when the police is tracking you. It is the sound of a young brother's face slammed on a police cruiser. It is the sound of the knee cracking his ribs while holding him down on the asphalt street. It is the sound of the baton on his lower back after he squirms and gasps for air. We hold our breaths. It is that sound. It is the suspenseful sound of a phone call piercing the middle of the night that no one wants to answer. We inhale. We exhale. The anticipation is agonizing. It is that sound, the sounds ringing in my ears. Thank you. We wanted more. We wanted more. We always wanted more. All 7 of us. We were hungry. We wanted more than wrapped burritos and oranges for lunch. We wanted more than frijoles and tortillas. We wanted more than caldo. We wanted to eat at restaurants. We wanted McDonald's. We wanted Kentucky Fried Chicken. We wanted more treats. We wanted ice cream. I would sneak Doritos bags underneath the sandwich bread, ding dongs underneath the bananas. I would replace cornflakes with Frosted Flakes. I sold Snickers bars and bags of M&Ms. We wanted longer showers, more time with warm water, more time in the bathroom. We wanted our own room, our own bed, our own blanket, but we shared everything: clothes, jackets, shoes, combs, sandals, one television. We wanted to get away. We wanted to move. We wanted a bigger home with a large backyard and a tiny playground. We wanted to smell fresh flowers, not chicken smells or burnt rubber smells or littered car part smells or dog smells. We wanted fresh lemonade in the refrigerator. We wanted a nice haircut at a barbershop, not one from Pops because he fucked up our hair every time. We wanted Nike shoes or Adidas or Vans. We got Keds or other knockout generic brands bought at Kmart or the swap meet. We wanted a new bike for all of us. I didn't mind if we shared this with handbrakes or multiple gears because our cousin had a new one. He didn't share with anyone, but we wanted a car during high school as well because he had one as well. We wanted vacations and trips to the beach. We wanted to go camping. We wanted to sleep underneath the stars. We wanted to go to the mountains. We wanted to go fishing because other boys in our classes did that. We wanted Santa Claus to visit our home. We wanted a Christmas tree full of presents. We wanted birthday parties. We wanted birthday cakes with candles. We wanted to spend night at friends' homes. We wanted more. We always wanted more. But he spanked our tiny asses, sometimes with his bare hands, often with his leather belt, red raw marks. The pain was like gas poured on fire. The pain spread across our backs and up our necks. The back of our thighs bubbled with red welts. He whipped us across our round butts for playing outside, for not pulling weeds, for talking during dinner, for coming home after dark, for bickering with each other over an Atari game. We wanted our mother when he screamed and knocked us down with a stinging slap to the back of our heads. We wanted her to comfort us. We wanted good times with him. We wanted laughter. We wanted him to throw the ball with us. We wanted swings in the backyard. We wanted just to crawl up his legs and sit on his lap. We wanted and craved his hugs from him. The affection never came. We wanted more. We always wanted more. All 7 of us. So that's about me and my siblings. Thank you, guys. This is a piece. If you're ever in Corona, what's that? All right. Thank you. If you're ever, thank you for offering that. If you're ever in Corona, there's a little barrio called Home Gardens. And Lisa, you probably know Home Gardens. But yeah, I know you do. You know, right? A lot of our friends grew up in that hood, but it's a lovely hood, and that's kind of the barrio that I grew up in, and they got a lot of good taquerias. They still have the same CNC liquor store where I used to work at as like a 14-year-old, 15-year-old just stocking alcohol and things like that. Man, I saw a lot of borrachos come through the store. And then I saw some of my tios come through, and I was like, damn, a 12-pack again, pinche tio? Like, damn, you know? Motherfucker likes to drink and shit, you know? Right? And so anyways, there's a reference that I make to the first time that my white friend came to the hood, and my mom was making tamales that day. And my mom and dad had a rule that, because we had 2 sisters, it says, hey, invite your friends over to the house, but you guys got to stay outside. If they need to pee, have them go pee in the back next to the chickens over there in the back, right? Next to the chickens and shit. We had chickens, you know, right? If he needs to do the other business, then you come in and you wait for him right outside because you got 2 sisters, right? And she was making tamales that day. And so I asked my friend, you want some tamales? And he goes, yeah, I've heard of them, you know, right? This is his first time eating tamales, right? So I'm enjoying my tamal, and we're sitting out in the very front porch. And I look over to my white friend on the right side, and he's holding it like a burrito, right? You know, right? And he's eating it like this. And I noticed that this fool hasn't taken the corn husk off of the tamal. And it gave us a little kind of introduction to, like, I can't assume that everybody knows tamales. Anyways, so that was a very joyful and laughable moment until I had to explain it to him. And I said, damn, dog, don't be such a pendejo. You never eaten a tamal for reals, huh? Thought you were bullshitting me. Where I'm from, the front porch is an extension of the living room, where my white friend first learned of tamales. You must unwrap the corn husk before biting into the creamy chile-filled masa. I'd sit for hours, spin sunflower seeds, and contemplating the beautiful girl from my class that I was too afraid to talk to. Where I'm from, I'd peel oranges while doing my algebra homework while I waited for my mother's mole. On any given day, music blasted from the inside. The thumping loud sounds would shake and rattle screen doors that were held together by that one tiny screw. The music was tropical and funky. The hip-hop beats were loud and bombastic. Classic times of whole afternoons as I became entranced to the glorious spells of music. And I remembered that it was my first love. Where I'm from, the sirens kept us up all night, from police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks. Even helicopters circled around the night sky, beaming and shining its high beams across the asphalt streets. Where I'm from, German shepherds and Rottweilers and cockfighting roosters competed for attention with the borrachos and tecatos who stumbled home drunk or high in the early morning hours. Shortly thereafter, a young mother would plead with her man. No, viejo, it wasn't me. No, stop screaming. You're going to wake up the kids. Please, Dios, por favor, ayúdame. Shut the hell up. I know it was you. Te voy a quebrar el hocico. Where I'm from, the smells of family creeps out of every opening, pore, crack, hole, and spills into the air like confetti. It is a warm pot of frijoles, handmade corn tortillas out of the comal, the toasted green chiles peeled and crushed into a smoky molcajete. Where I'm from, the blaring sounds of horns, music, children, ice cream trucks keeps everyone awake and alert. The cars litter driveways, yards, and large patches of dirt. They're all works in progress. Empty beer cans are scattered all over the front yard like permanent decorations. The marijuana smoke penetrates the nostrils and permeates the air. Young children play hopscotch in the middle of the street as they dodge lowriders, cruising slow and low to the sounds of oldies. Where I'm from, the concrete walls are never bare. Inscriptions are scrawled, barely legible. Graffiti claims a clica or a barrio. Names of lovers are etched out and painted over by young novice muralists. Hearts are glorified, suns and moons are painted, and rainbows provide colors to the drab streets. These walls leave memories of who was here. Where I'm from, the fresh grasses sprouts. Fruit trees grow wildly like a jungle in the backyard. Wildflowers push through cracks in the concrete. Shaky hands of grandmothers tend immaculate rosebush gardens. Young girls jump rope in the middle of the street. Teenage boys toss baseballs and make plans to become boxers or ballers or CEOs of El Martillo Press. Where I'm from, through the crumbled cinder blocks between cracked cement and potholes on asphalt streets, tells the future of innocent shorties that read books and become lawyers and teachers and poet laureates of Pomona. Where I'm from, it is still possible to make dreams come true. It is still possible to make a mother smile and to make your sister cry tears of joy. Thank you very much. That's my little set. Thank you to Arvida Books. It's warm up here, but, you know, like I said, come visit me in Riverside, you know. Thank you, Matt Cedillo. Thank you, David. And Delicados are in the house together for the first time in a while, you know. All right, thank you guys, okay?
All right, one more time for Professor Donato Martinez. All right, up next, we're going to bring up the woman of the hour, the person who helped book this show here today. Our next author has performed as far as Japan and is going to be as close as about 10 feet from me right now. Her words have been all over the world. You know, right now she would be in Portugal, but she fell down somewhere. And her great partner, husband, Ryan, he actually carved a cane for her within like the time it took her to get there. So, I mean, it's an incredible, you know, El Martillo is really kind of like a team effort, a family. I mean, they made the bags and he's done a lot of photo shoots for us. So we're really, really grateful to have Margaret as a part of our team. So give it up for Margaret and Ryan real quickly. I'm not bringing her up quite yet though. Yeah, I met her originally at AWP, and it was really one of these great experiences where we really hit it off immediately. She is someone we're so proud to have. She's a journalist who's written about the wildfires in Northern California. She's written collections of short stories. She's written poet. This is the first poetry manuscript, correct? Yeah. First poetry manuscript, and we're so honored to have that here at El Martillo Press. She's written incredible angry letters to editors as well. I mean, just a polyglot of words. So please put your hands together for Margaret Alicia Garcia.
Where is my cane? I thought I brought it in somewhere. Okay. Let's not go home without it. So right now there's two women on the press. One is Flaminia Cruciani, who's in Italy, and there's me. And I'm here to tell you that I think my fellow men on the press do not get unsolicited dick pics the way I do. So, right? So this is a poem I wrote about the last dick pic I was sent. It's for all of you who send dick pics. You know who you are. So this is called So You Think You Want the Weird Chick. Oh, honey, I'll get weird on you. You were just going about your American day in your oversized, no longer ironic t-shirt and your Target gift card. You didn't ask for this extra with your supersized fries and no different than anyone else's fried chicken, but you sat in that mile-long line of drive-through anyhow. Nah, I know you think you want me. You are open-minded. You can overlook the belly of me because of that view right above it. And you can get a little crazy too. You know, you said that one time you did karaoke, you got on the table. Baby, you are a visitor, and I've already given you your passport stamp. I will always be a foreign land, sitting in the dark, watching decades old movies, staring at the wall, waiting for it to move. You sent me a photo of you naked, hard, and I respond, you would look great in sepia, and your abs look like they are trying too hard, but your hands look incredibly strong. Could you crush the souls of insects with your bare hands? The dick, you say. The dick. What do you think? It looks, I say, like it wants to go on carnival rides where the carnies sweat in polyester jumpsuits and the parents scream at the kids that they paid all of that money. So God damn it, you better have fun. All right. Don't be sending dick pics. Unless asked. If she asks you for it, you can send it. If she doesn't, don't. I don't know why I'm staring at you. I'm sorry. All right. This is called Debtor's Prism. And this is dedicated to Biden. They're coming back for us. We've been too comfortable here, what with being able to pay our bills and making our children real dinners. Can't have that in America. What would the neighbors whose parents paid for college with their hard-earned inherited wealth think? Even playing fields as boring as a Midwestern landscape, like bootstraps on bare feet. Our mistakes are self-made, like white men in suits driving Teslas. They're coming back for us as we prepare to vote for the people who didn't save us because the other ones want to harvest our wombs in small towns for wars we don't have the bandwidth, the attention to commit to. Can't have that in America. We'd each have only one job instead of 2 hours sleep. Can we call it a draw? Can we call it the usury interest that it is? Can we agree that our degrees, inch by inch, are way into nothing? Disagree? What's relief to you anyhow? The satisfaction we won't ever have enough? That when you look over your shoulder, like your daddy's shoulder before you, that we are still miles and years away? Y'all have till September 1st. All right. Just nervous laughter of those of us who are like, did I take a third job? What's my hustle? What's my hustle? I have friends in Vegas, and every time I'm like, I need a side hustle, they're like, here, sell your feet. Here, sell your, not chopping them off. Just I have weird feet. There's people pay for that kind of thing. If you're one of them, let me know afterwards because I need to pay my student loan. All right. This is called Chili Verde Dreaming. I roasted the green chilies, leaving in and taking out just enough seeds the day before. Got out the big pot from the top of the fridge, and I pulled down the last of the New Mexico dried green powder from the tin above the stove to add it to the onions, the tomatillos, the best pork I could find when eaten too close to bedtime brings on a wild night of restless dreams. I'd have to sneak it to him under the cover of such darkness, under pretense of friendship, like it's a normal, everyday thing to feed a man who isn't yours yet. I'd deliver a full bowl of my offering the next day when the meat was tender, soft like a woman's, melting from his tongue, the chilies just enough bite and sting, like a kiss with a tooth mark left on the skin. Alchemy. I watch as he takes his first mouthfuls of what has been missing in his stark and beautiful bachelor freedom. It is witchcraft, this thing that women who cook do. I tell my girlfriends about my dinner crimes. Girl, you made him your chili verde? Their eyebrows raise and their smiles smirk. Their heads turn in slow recognition of what it means to feed a man something his mama used to make him, something slow roasted falling off my bones in ecstasy. So, before I read a couple tiny more from the Daughterland, this beautiful book that was published by El Martillo Press last month. It's at the cash register up here if you want it. I'll sign it. And this chronicles a journey in poetry of being a mom through COVID when your kids aren't doing so well and everything's turned to shit. I had one kid who did great because he hates people, so he just like did his own thing, stayed in his room, and my jock girl did not do so well. So I'm going to read you a couple from here, and then I'll be out of your way. Okay. So in the whole premise of the book is my daughter asked, "Who are we?" when they were wheeling her off to in the emergency room. So this whole book is my response. Mi madre versus the white MIL. My mother offers to put hexes on our exes, threatens to haunt us when she's dead if we don't do our best to rise above what's thrown down on brown. My white mother-in-law told her boys to make money, insists she doesn't see color, wears red, white, and blue for the bottom line of brown kids in cages who look like mine. And for some reason, I have not memorized what's on what page, which is not a good thing. Okay. It's on 31. So this is called the Inventories of the Borders of Daughterland. And I thank you all for coming out in such heat. Yeah. You asked who we were when they wheeled you away. We are from a land of no apologies, of no forgiveness, of something done when you are young held against you. We are from a land of set bedtimes and daily chores, nothing in the sink, nothing on the floor, no one at the door. We are a Saturday morning loud, Mexican music on exquisite stereos and stucco houses, dance and clean and bleach and clean and dance. We are a family of Latinas who label each other too white when we succeed, brown when things go down, our words imprinted on both our light and dark skins. We are brown girls, but not that kind of brown. We are white girls, but not that kind of white. We are with and without Spanish, with pretty words sent to conquer us. We are from pristine vehicles and manicured lawns because someone at a gas station called our grandparents dirty on their way home from work in 1957. We are pretty smart we are degrees by degree. We are rosaries and candles. We are from you don't retire, you work until you die. We are generosity that doesn't call attention to itself. We are cash only, don't use credit. Happiness is for later when you can afford it. We are from don't back down. We are from having the last word, even if the last word goes unspoken. We are dark lipstick and roses, blue robes and gold stars, sinners and saints, Mary and Tonatzin, cemetery playgrounds, hoops and heels, gold crosses to bear, gringa, gavacha, pocha, California, home. Thank you.
All right, that was Margarita Garcia. Phenomenal. All right, up next, hailing from Rome or Florence, whichever is her fancy, but through the medium of David A. Romero, I'm going to bring up Flaminia Cruciani. Have David come up here and yeah, that's what all those hand signals meant. All right, we're going to have to work on those. All right, please give it up for Flaminia by way of David.
Excuse me as I channel an Italian archaeologist, a world-renowned poet and archaeologist. Yes, of course. Claro. Facile. Yeah, I'm actually going to be teaching some Italian students at Hope International University next week, and they always make fun of my Italian. They're always like, "It's so exaggerated." That's because that's how they talk all the time. They're like, "We don't talk like that." So this poem is a breviary. Reason strove, devoured by the unrecognizable Flaminias. In the spectral descent of the disguised icon, you plowed your hair and passed off your mouth as broom on your rival's black blood, my breathless, distracted genitals, handed down in battle for a bitter sacrament. Drink the warm erection you used to beat the women crowding in my body, in my bed crowned by fire. Sit down beside me now. Make me a wheaten sign of the cross. I recite the blasphemous breviary of perdition. I am condemned for life. Whoa, that's that hot stuff right there. Whoa. Oh, this is a good one. This is actually one of her favorite poems. It's about her really controlling, I guess, tough love from her father. It's called Sparta. All right. You don't know how they wept quietly in Sparta, on the heap of Dorian ancestors from the crowded sepulchres when an inferior sky married. The father was cursed along with his gospel of oaths, cracked with use, swallowed into theological chaos, soiled by the equestrian circus. The stopwatch went off, and we were already late to train as warriors. The chains that had to be fixed with hands stiffened by the cold for us to taste the ruin of a miracle, to grow strong as an army. A woman strong as an army, one step from immortality, with a crushed orchid in her fist. I asked for nuclear mercy, to weep and cry, at ease. I would have wanted a raft of almonds and shelter under a kiss. But within the voice's range, I only marched silence, head lowered. There was an enemy to be defeated. It was me. Yeah. But you see, she's a world-renowned archaeologist, so, you know, it worked out well, I think. All right, I'm going to invite back up Matt Cedillo to introduce the last reader, who also has some surprise guests. So, yes, give it up for Matt Cedillo.
So just one quick word about Flaminia. Is actually Flaminia has had the great honor of performing at the Medellin Poetry Festival. Now, for those who know, Medellin Poetry Festival is the largest poetry festival in the world. You have it's like on some Pablo Neruda stuff. Like you go there and like stadiums of poets are there to see you. So Medellin. So she knows them. I mean, we're very glad to have launched with Flaminia. In the works, we're going to be working with Ensemble, which is my Italian translator, my Italian publishers who published my book in Italian, and we're going to be working with them. Yeah, we clap for that. We're this current crop of books, the next current crop of books are going to get like shelved and sold in Florence Italy. We're working on getting him in Mexico City, and we're working on getting him in Rome and also in Paris. So these are all things that are in the works right now. And I'm now working with Vanessa Torres, who's actually part of the Medellin Poetry Festival, part of the World Poetry Movement. And I'm going to work towards getting El Martillo authors involved in this thing that I just mentioned with the Medellin Poetry Festival. So we're starting out international, and that's just out the gate. So in 5 years' time, we're going to be intergalactic. We're going to be like publishing people from the moon. You know what I'm saying? Interdimensional. We're going to be publishing like 5 different versions of Cesar Avalar, for the multiverse. And Paul Flores and Margaret and Donato. So yeah. I'm gonna have the negative Donato. He's gonna be like, we had it all. Like instead of we wanted more, like we started with everything. Have an evil version of everyone. No, we probably won't publish them. Anyways, that was the point. I'm gonna bring up our next author, but before I do that, I do want to share a poem, and I wouldn't normally do this, but there's a gentleman in the audience right now, Professor Alejandro Morales, who's like this incredible scholar and writer, and his work actually made its way into one of my poems. So I'd be remiss not to do it right now. So I'm gonna do that, and this is for you, sir. There we go. Los Angeles abuelas raise grandkids in Spanglish under the watchful eye of the Virgin Jesus. Make a village out of a duplex, raised Catholic, but the roots are indigenous. Several generations of family extension all growing one plot. Hand-me-downs under shared rules, rooms, and reflections. In la quech, porque mi casa es tu casa, that's your promises, family living. Las palabra. Light a candle. Burn some sage and picture saints at your altar, a sign of the cross. The sound of the conch pairs lips at 4 directions, that's culture. Not contradiction. Folks in the back, they fight for living. 515 hail from the rowdy section of Dodger Stadium, but the hearts still burn with the fire from that Chavez ravine. And here is home of La Reina. At 54 cents in the dollar, America's most exploited worker. Neglected, disrespected, underrepresented, presumed incompetent. If she lives life's expected, she'll be labeled statistic. If she managed to outpace them, threaten, they will blame affirmative action. But either way, they will not see her. They will demand her labor, paid and unpaid, smiling, her eyes humble and her mouth silent. Lay the river. Cities past, present, and future. The queen of angels. Invisible to those who float. Through canyons, lagoons, and cemeteries, whitewashing adobe through a series of fevered dreams connected by a bridge called her back to those who make demands. To stories told to bury the past, the ones that serve to remind her that she works for them, that she is lucky to even have a job here in El Pueblo. Nuestra Señora, La Reina de Los Ángeles, de Rio por Cinco, it's called La La Land. 1890s built the Pueblo. In the 80s built the Pueblo. In the 1890s, the Brick House of Montebello built one again, only beaten and shot, only for no Mexicans or dogs, only different set of rules, for different set of schools. We written out of the history of a city we found as we are priced out of the homes of our mothers. Yet more and more of greater Los Angeles suddenly discovered, and that is the struggle of our forebears. One para pan. Historia y tells Victoria siempre. The struggle is real. La lucha sigue. La reina. The signs of front lines of every fight, holding it down, holding the better half sky, fighting justification, fighting for education, fighting for tenants' rights, fighting la migra y la jura, cause fuck the police. Chinga la ice, fighting for dignity, hers and ours, all the damn time. Brown and brown and brown and brown. The hearts and hands, the backbone of these racists with those 2 fingers up. When we say fuck Donald Trump, that's not identity politics. That is the cry of the proletariat. And at 54 cents on the dollar, she is the face of us. You see her. When you see her pushing some other mother strollers locked behind cash, raising the 3rd, 4th, 5th, shift to the oppressed. Show some respect. Bow your head. Bend the knee. All hail La Reina, the once and future queen. That's right. Do yourself a favor and Google the best political poet in America. My name comes right up. Anyways, okay, but tonight's not about that. That don't matter. Right now, up next, we're gonna bring up this gentleman who has oh my God, he's been a playwright, a poet. He's touched some of the biggest stages in the world. He's an HBO deaf poet. Where did I meet him? I met him when we did a reading together in San Francisco with Tongo Issa Martin, the current poet laureate in San Francisco. And we did a reading with was me, him, and the late great QR Hand. And it was an incredible experience. And of course I had heard of Paul Flores because I had seen all the HBO deaf poets, and it was like, I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy, right? And he's like, yeah, I am that guy, right? And And he was kind of gracious, and I was like, no, but you're that guy. Then he got kind of cocky, and then as his people. But no, but this man has touched so many, he blazed so many stages, he's opened so many doors. He's a true pioneer, not just for his work, but for all of us, for gente, for brown folks. He's been doing this at a time when nobody wanted to hear us, and he's been blazing. And we are so proud and honored to not only publish him. I think this is your first like published collection of poetry. We are the first to publish this, man. That is an incredible poetry collection. Yeah, your first poetry collection. They were the first people to publish an entire collection of this great man. And he also played like Oakland A's or something. It was bizarre. Anyways, the Chicago Cubs. Sorry, he played for the Chicago for the Cubbies. Also strange. All right, but a man who's living a varied life, and he's about to touch stage. You're in for a treat. We're all in for a treat. We're about to experience the wonders of Paul Flores.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Flores from San Francisco. Originally from Chula Vista, so I'm not too far. I'm kind of like, a little north. I've never been to Tustin. Thank you, Tustin. Never been here before, but it's cute. You're happy that it's so cute. I did bring my friends today. I brought a lot of my friends, but two of them are my dear friends. In 1996, a gentleman named Darren De Leon and a guy named Norman Zelaya, both poets in San Francisco. We wanted to start a group and really kind of like bring poetry to the people. And the idea was just perform it on the street. Go where folks are. And Norman, originally from the Mission District, Darren originally from San Bernardino, and we were all at the San Francisco State Creative Writing Program. There were 200 people in the Creative Writing Program. 4 were Latino. 3 of us and a few named E3 Brown. So, of course, we stick together to survive, right? And that's ended up becoming what we created this group called Los Delicados. So we're all here today, but I want to invite them each to do a piece. Is that cool? Before I do my work, I mean, I'm happy to have this opportunity to share my influences. So the first person I'm going to bring up is my boy, DJ Aztec Parrot. He's a DJ too. At KUCR, right? Or whatever that station is. And let's give it up for Darren De Leon.
I'm gonna use the microphone because my voice is not really working a lot today. I was involved with Occupy Oakland Occupy. Just got tear gassed by the cops. So, story about that. It's called The Feast of Tear Gas and Tango. We escaped the war-torn plaza with scarves that hide our identity, descend down into the den in gancho steps, corrida across the floor. I step inside, gently brush your thigh in Malonga Ochos. This, our first dance, I radiate solar heat, good for fertile soil. You hero into ripe food. A harvest of peaches appear from your shoulders as lechuga laces your waist. A milpa of corn adorns your back, your spine, an orchard of apples. Your torso of melons, asparagus protrudes from behind your knees. Tangerines from the inside of your elbows. I breathe in the lavender and rosemary of your breath. 1 million can feed off the nectarines in your lips, but I am greedy with you. I am now the sun, and you are fully exposed without a shadow of relief. Your adornos leave no tracks. My barida brings you into my embrace. Your arms around me feel like a house becoming a home. I shape shift into hawk when you say besos. I roam for you, hunted prey, afraid, duck into bushes, entered into the safety of caves and darkness. As most feed around us are cuttings that we leave behind, the nutritious love we make in cadenas and mordidas as El Mago composes for us. We love Hardal. We love too, Hardal. And when the accordion is put away, I request a cortina inside the taxi home and savagely prepare a salad from your body. With you, I am home, sleeping in the compass of your breasts. Together we set traps for each other and innocently trigger the contraptions, willing to be victims of sustenance and love. In the morning, I am confused about what is home, the nape of your neck filled with honey wine or the jail cell disguised as my apartment. We shower ourselves from slumber and slumber in the shower. We sink into the drain of passion. I grab your hips like handlebars and ride into eternity. Your essence is the warm wind against my face. I do not want to wipe the sleep from my eyes because it is you that has planted itself in my field of vision. We feed each other. Thank you. Next is, I want to introduce my brother from Los Delicados, the co-founder, and we started it just like meeting at a cafe, being the only brown guys around. Started talking baseball and basketball, and next thing you know, we started writing together, and eventually would bring Paul into the fold. But as us poets, he has done very well working in short story and novel form. And his latest novel on Black Freight Press called Gente Folks should be available here. If not, then you should find it. I want to bring conceived in Nicaragua, but born in San Francisco native, Norman Zelaya.
Thank you very much. Un aplauso a todos ustedes, un aplauso. I find it amazing and a blessing that there are places, many places everywhere, where people are happy and content to come and listen to poetry. Right? Like, look at you. Like, all pushed closely together on a hot-ass day. You don't care. You're a little uncomfortable. I don't care. Seth is wearing a black shirt, sitting in the sun. He don't give a fuck. He's there for the poetry, man. It's free. Born and raised in San Francisco, so I am best served at a cool 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm a little uncomfortable up here in shorts. I never wear shorts. I feel like I don't know if I'm doing it right. So you guys let me know. This is like a sighting, right? It's like seeing Bigfoot in the forest or Norman walking around in shorts. It's the same thing. Take a picture of me. It's gonna come out blurry, bro. It's like so I'm heavily influenced by. I'm a teacher too, so I'm heavily influenced by the mothers in the neighborhood. Doña Lucero let it be known early on, first time we met, that she was tough on Osvaldo. Así soy siempre. When she had to, she raised her voice with him. She was mano dura because she wanted him to be raised with educación. She alone was bringing him up, Osvaldo, because that's the way things had turned out, desgraciadamente. The boy's father was a good for nothing and only came around when his vices permitted him, and he wasn't too busy with his women or silicón. El cabrón que es, bastard, perdónme, maestro, pero yo hablo así. That had always been her manner of speaking. Francamente, con la verdad, she said, with the truth, sin pelos en la lengua. And I bowed my head knowingly. Of course, señora. And I urged her to continue with an open hand. Por favor. Bueno, maestro. The father only comes around to mess up the boy and spoil him with candy and toys and video games on his phone. Lo peor, the worst he can do, because Osvaldo becomes obsessed. You should see him. His eyes bug out, maestro. And then I have to correct Osvaldo when he doesn't want to give the phone back to his father, or worse, he starts to tantrum for my telephone. Y pide. And his father doesn't help. He berates me. Hija de la fregada, dirty slut, no sirves para nada, you're useless. And he yells at me to give the boy what he wants. Déjalo, he says. Dáselo, he says. Hija de su puta madre, he says. Y de ahí no me baja. That's where he's always had me. Low, a worthless tramp. Because that's all he knows how to say to me. Soy puta, a whore. And he says it with no shame. Doesn't matter that Osvaldo is there between us. Enfrente de mi hijo, maestro. Y Osvaldo shrieking, llorando pero llantos. Face streaked, mouth dribbling until he throws himself to the floor, kicking and thrashing. And his father all the time yelling at me, cursing me, vulgarities, nastiness, que solamente sirves para chingar, que te chinga la madre, que puta no sé qué, no sé cuánto. And Osvaldo screeching harder each time, pataleando, and the whole world staring at me. Confused, stunned. Qué vergüenza. I want to hide, but where? Dime dónde. No. I put up with enough of that life. That's why I left him. Mejor que él chingue su madre. Perdón, maestro, it's rude, vulgar that I speak that way, pero yo voy a sacar a mi hijo adelante. I'm going to raise Osvaldo to respect my word and obey me, obey others too, and do what's right. Osvaldo is going to know that he's coming to school to learn, and there he's going to listen to the teacher, and he's going to do his work sin berrinche. Not one blow up. And there isn't going to be no Walgreens, ni Chetos, ni SpongeBob, ni Takis, ni Star Wars cards, ni Spider-Man stickers. Mira, maestro, se lo juro. Each time we pass by La Walgreens, it's another toy. Any little thing, and each one is $4 or $5. Imagínese, maestro, the cost. Y yo sin dinero. And the house is so full of these little thingies, I don't know where to put them anymore. But if I don't buy him something, then he's a complete spectacle. Berrinche, maestro. Flipped over in the middle of La Walgreens like a sick crab. No. I can't go on like that. Maestro, por eso le hablo fuerte. When I have to raise my voice at him, I do fuerte. Because I want Osvaldo to learn. He can learn. And I want him to know he has to respect everyone. That's what I want, maestro. I listened and promised her that Osvaldo was going to learn in my classroom. She was right. All children could learn. That was my work every day for everyone. As long as students were in my class, anyone who came through that door. Thank you.
Wow. One more time, please, for Norman and Darren. This is my first poetry book. Thank you to Martillo. Round of applause for Martillo. So awesome. It's beautiful to start a new journey with a new group of artists. Again, I'm from the Bay, but a lot of the work happens in LA. So we're guests here. I feel very welcome. David and Matt did such a good job with this press. So thank you guys very much. Thanks to the folks who came out today. Thanks to my classmates. Thanks to Dina and Alex, I'm old friends. That's really cool. Adolfo was here from Coffee Shop Poets. I don't know where he went. There he is. That's Adolfo from Coffee Shop Poets. Such good friends. No, this cat. And I don't know, almost 26 years, probably too. So been in the game a long time. I'm the veterano in this group, just so you know that.
That's not what they say.
I've been longer than all of y'all. I mean, in our group. This poem that I think Donato likes. This is a food poem. All right. Let's see. I probably don't need the mic because I'm already really loud. But do you want me to do the mic? Does it matter? Okay. All right. Check the feedback. Okay. I'll stay within this circumference. All right. I'm the 100th molecule. What did you say, Norman? What do you call it? The one that just circles around? Okay, well, maybe you guys didn't get that joke. Hey, I don't know where he went. Levántate a trabajar, José. La caña hay que cortar, tú ves. Después vamos a comer arroz con frijoles, un bulle café, arroz con pollo. Pa' fin de año, yuca con mojo y cerveza. Para todo el vecindario, come to my house for dinner, mi herma. Estamos cocinando arroz con pollo, tostones, frijoles negros. We'll have antojitos on red mantos, mojitos to brighten your mente with mint. Tune your ear to clave, clap on your lap, lightly and on time, like ajo and lime on everything. We will greet you with the scent of warm olive oil and garlic. Roasted red and green pepper, sauteed with cumin, onion, and oregano. The aroma will primp your appetite, make you want to pasear, chat at the lip of a ventana, feel the coquettish breeze, admire palm leaves that wave like sábanas in the wind. Ahora sí, hacer te invito a mi casa. Plantains mashed by hand, rub like fingers over a cajon. We use paper, not a tostonera, because we like tostones thin. Black beans soaking overnight, softening to your taste, so sweet with red wine vinegar and rum that they even simmered in the muanga of Orquesta Aragon. Come to my house for dinner, mi herma. Seguro que we won't disappoint you. Tonight, we're cooking arroz con pollo, estilo cubano. So exquisite, so delicious, so perfect, because we make this dish a reflection of our soul. Golden, rice moist but not wet, con guisantes and Spanish chorizo, roasting, frying, baking ese chicken rubbed with paprika para que te pica, spice in the bite, sharp and crisp como café. Después de una siesta, awake in the taste and textures. Open your palates like windows open on humid green mountainsides. Come, share the table with us. Savor the cuisine. Hay ambiente. Must be a celebration. I wrote this poem to be like an invitation. So bring your mother, bring your brother. You could bring your lover, because this is a meal you will want to remember. Thank you. So that poem is in here. It's part of the first section of this book called Chicano Supernova. And the whole first section of the book, it's in 3 sections. The first section is really about becoming the kind of like traveling spoken word professional poet. And you're representing a community. So all the poems are really culture based about this is the things that we go through. Here's who we are. And a lot of the audience, it's all audience oriented. So the idea of the poems is to be performed live in front of people. So one of the things about, because a lot of our community doesn't read. A lot of our young people don't read no more. Y'all be on text and, looking at TikTok. So to get into poetry is difficult. So my intention was do poems that you have to pay attention to. So a lot of the performances part of this book, Poems and Performances, has that intention. That's the representation of me out on the road, working with different Latino communities all over the nation and in the world, trying to get them interested in spoken word and poetry. Right, that's the idea that I have. This is this next poem is from the 3rd section of the book, which is really more about like different communities in the United States who have had to fight for their place as immigrants in the U.S. So not just Mexicanos, not just Centroamericanos, not just Arabs, but all the immigrants who had to go through recent incarceration. So I interviewed a woman from Honduras as I was doing a documentary theater piece and film about family incarceration. And her name was, see if I find the poem. Her name was Lorena. And not her real name, but this poem is dedicated to her. It's called 700 Days, inspired by Las Madres de Berks by Michelle and Angela Ortiz. That is a documentary you can watch about all these women and their children who were incarcerated for over 2 years in immigrant detention prisons. ICE put Lorena and her 2-year-old son, Gabriel, in an immigrant detention prison for 22 months, 700 days. The little boy's memory began while locked up, playing ball with his toddler inmates at Berks Family Prison in Pennsylvania. ICE put Lorena and her 2-year-old son, Gabriel, in an immigrant detention prison for 22 months, 700 days. At the end, the federal judge asked the prosecutor, "What is a 4-year-old child doing in prison for 700 days?" The federal prosecutor could not respond. Lorena and Gabriel came from Honduras. She crossed the border with her child to seek asylum from domestic violence. She did not steal. She did not murder. She did not run from authorities. Still, ICE put Lorena and her 4-year-old son in prison for 22 months, 700 days in Berks, Pennsylvania. Today, 111 immigrant children are still held behind bars, most of them under 5 years old and for extra long stays. What is a 4-year-old child doing in prison for 700 days? In Berks Family Residential Center prison, there's no school. So guards teach the children to speak English with "shut up and be quiet." Lorena asked her lawyer, what did that mean? Cállate, shut up, be quiet. Children are being too loud in prison playing games. It's too much for guards to learn to say a Spanish phrase, so shut up and be quiet will be your lesson for today. What is a 4-year-old child doing in prison for 700 days? People donated $25 million to build to GoFundMe to build a wall at the Mexican border. Steve Bannon took that money on vacation. They spent $14 billion on the election, but they said it was a fraud. It was President Obama and Biden built those cages where immigrant children slept on the ground with an aluminum blanket, 2 sandwiches a day. I thought people elected Joe Biden because they said they wanted change. What is a 4-year-old child doing in prison for 700 days? They deported Gabriel's 4-year-old friends from Berks Family Prison. They lost the parents of over 600 children and forced them into the foster system. Here's where your tax money goes. When the judge saw 4-year-old Gabriel after 700 days in a cell, he said Lorena and her son could live with a family sponsor while their asylum is decided. ICE put a GPS collar on Lorena's ankle and let her free of Berks Family Prison in Pennsylvania. Freedom by any means, freedom by any ways, and whoever pays. I'm sending my tax return to the Shut Down Berks Coalition because what is a 4-year-old child doing in prison for 700 days? Thank you. I have my first book that I published back in 20 years ago. This is my novel called Along the Border Lies, about growing up on the border between Tijuana and San Diego. So definitely, if you want a copy of it, hit me up. Also have, if you like the first poem, I have my CD that is bilingual with different collaborators in jazz and music called We Have Ire, all Cuban-oriented stuff. I'm Cuban and Mexican, so you'll hear both of that. And also have a CD from quite a while ago called Chicano Messengers of Spoken Word, one of my other groups, with Mark Pinate and Amalia Ortiz. Amalia Ortiz is one of the people who blurbed my book, along with Juan Felipe Herrera, Jimmy Santiago Baca, people who I really love and look up to. Yeah, really dope. Thank you for allowing me to do this. This is not out yet, so you can't buy it today. You have to order from El Martillo Press. It comes out in a couple weeks. August 18th will be the book release party officially at Espacio 1839 in Boyle Heights. Come through. A lot of different poets will be there, including David and Matt, but also Jess Bliss and also Quetzal Flores from Quetzal is going to play with me, and a couple other, Javi Moreno and Nico, the group called Poets del Norte. Yes, that's good. Are we done? I have another one. Do you want another one? Are you sure? Are you sure you want another one? All right. I'll do the title poem, yeah, from the book. So since my homies are here from SF, this poem is just about surviving an extremely expensive city like San Francisco and fighting to stay there. Like, I'm not gonna let them fools kick me out. That's what it is. That's why it's called We Still Be. Despite all the stuff that we have to face to raise our families in our homes, we still keep going. My empire of fog-crowned hills, through webs of electric muni lines, that tang of Phil's roasted coffee grinds, scorched breath of San Francisco poets emits passion of Juana Alicia, Roberto Vargas, Juan Felipe Herrera, legacy of Ginsberg, Kaufman, Diane de Prima, devotion to its exotics, its unions and gangster politics, where a dancer can steal your heart and hold it for ransom at a gallery called Crucible Steel. This muse, more than just an obsession, more like a blood oath to embrace Carnaval, where even the most straight-laced will cross-dress for the sake of adventure. This is San Francisco's heartbeat. This is San Francisco's heartbeat. My homie's house burned down. My homie's house burned down, and we read poetry in the ashes. We raised his spirit and some cash with bottles of tequila and coronas, salted tears to quench harsh throats. We told jokes, and Marcus played hard bebop. My homie wailed. My homie wailed for his dog, lost in the smoke of a broken pilot light-induced inferno. The poetry heals. The bebop revives. The poetry heals and the bebop revives. We never go softly into that dark night. This is San Francisco's heartbeat. This is San Francisco's heartbeat. They say blacks and Mexicans don't belong anymore. Can't afford to raise a family in a decent-sized home anymore, but Muni drivers are black and those jobs last forever. And Latino teachers got white kids speaking Spanish, at least until Chicano becomes a four-letter word. If you peel the flyers back from the telephone poles, you'll find broadsides protesting gentrification of the Guayabera. 1921 or 21 19-year-olds. My broadsides was bilingual when it was illegal. You don't know how to stop this flow? A poetry evangelist with contraband Mexican cigarettes by the pound? Yo soy delicado. Yo soy delicado, and we liberated public space con queso, con el tambor y el chequere, con bass and drum and saxophone, and David Molina and Jimmy Biala and Marcus Shelby and Howard Wiley and Jenny Lim and Ro Dessa Jones with bourbon and rum and smoking drum. We took Monte Crudo to the tool shed. We made Relámpago Negro. That's Black Lightning. Enrique Quique Padilla, Relámpago Negro. This is San Francisco's heartbeat. This is San Francisco's heartbeat. Everybody always asks me. Everybody want to know, what's so good about San Francisco? It's the poets. It's the poets. It's the poets. It's the poets. It's the crazy, drunk, loud-ass poets from the Mission, from Bayview, from Hunters Point, from North Beach, from Chinatown. I wasn't born here, but I ain't no tourist, and I know my way around. Broke so many hearts, but keep coming back for more. We speak easy at Bruno's in the corner of the bar. Her style is Latin swing with strapless dress and high heels. She brown skin, so beautiful. Want her to wear my ring. Represent a swagger with mestizo babies in a sling. We jazz fest in North Beach with tapas on the grass. We festival in Stern Grove. We carnival. We Baker Beach. Our baby's growing so fast, and we like to show them off on Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus, Snapchat. The Bay Area got them all. San Francisco is our heart. Many come to claim her throne. Many move to Oakland. Home is where I'm loved the most. So rise, San Francisco, like trolley train over Pacific Heights. We look to you for inspiration when life is about struggle.
You make it possible to desire something different. You make it possible to believe because we still believe. Yes, we still believe. Yes, we still believe. Yes, we still believe. Yes, we still believe because we still be. We still be. We still be. We still be the heartbeat of San Francisco. Thank you so much, huh? Thank you to Martillo Press. Thank you, Arvida Books. Thank you to the beautiful people. Good night, Tustin.
All right, enjoy some free beverages, mingle, check out the bookstore, buy something, or out